Good morning, everybody. Welcome behind the scenes here at Jamie Riddler Studios. I'm Jamie, and it is Tuesday. And I'm feeling just this tenderness this morning, and that's all good. Yesterday, my goal for this week, as we get ready for our renovation, is to go through my papers. And so to have everything ordered and know what is going to come with us when we move for the summer and what is going to go into storage. And of course, I came across that box. I don't know if you have one like this, but I have a box of files that is my life from, throughout school. It's my memories. And I really had a look at it yesterday, and it just touched me. It moved me. It gave me moments of my life back, and it reminded me of me. It brought me back to parts of myself, or it made me collect parts of myself and bring them home. And I know with our current love of minimalism and decluttering, and I know I've said this before, that one of the things people talk about is you still keep the memories. And in many ways, this just isn't true. We have very limited recall in terms of our past. And so often having some tangible thing or item brings that memory to life. And so I'm looking at an old exam and I'm remembering Mr. Raudzep, my French teacher, who enjoyed rolling that R at the beginning of his name. And I think about how I got in trouble in class once because I was not paying attention. I was practicing a tap number under my desk, and I didn't realize that I actually was making quite a bit of noise. I didn't remember that in the first week of school, I had gym and then I had music, and I got lost in between, including getting bad advice about which direction to go in order to find that room, which probably is why later on in high school, during orientation week, I was a person who wore a blue and white ribbon and a little button that said our school name that meant, if you are new, you can ask me where the gym is or where the music room is or where the bathroom is, and I will tell you the truth. And that's a theme in my life. Me being the person that says, if you ask me, then I'm going to do my very best to tell you the truth. You can trust me. And maybe it's because I knew what it was like to be vulnerable and misdirected. One of the things I noticed as I look through amazingly some essays that were like young memoirs of my life, one of the things I couldn't help but tune into was my vulnerability. My young girl self that was saying, how do I describe myself in the world? What was my self-image? And it was so, in one ways, earnest and hopeful, but in other ways, so needing of encouragement. So waiting for somebody to say, I believe in you. To just to be that sunshine that would just strengthen my muscles, because I had had a pretty challenging time at home. And I can see where that worked. For example, I had a wonderful Latin teacher, Mr. Kelly. And when I did well, he really encouraged me. And so I graduated that year with like 105%, and the 5 carried over to the next year because I blossomed under encouragement. Contrast, I had a math teacher who actively harassed me. And that led me to shutting down and missing a lot of that class and losing math, which I had excelled at. All of this to say, what I noticed most of all as I went through these papers and as I recommitted to keeping them, it suddenly occurred to me that My sister Shannon loves documentation. Hey, Shannon. And tracking. My brother is a historian and a writer. And my dad revels in maintaining family history. And I thought, what is it about us Riddlers? What is it that I am feeling here too? I'm actually not obsessed with history. I am a person who loves living in the present, so it's not that. And as I sat there looking at these things, I thought, it's that I love life. I value the moments of life. And so when I found poetry that I had written and I was suddenly on that bus or riding that subway or having that conversation or heartbroken over that boy, it was my love of the truth, the depth, the beauty, the angst, the colors of life that made me hold on to these things. And that through my personal connection to my own life, I could feel it in a very intimate way. So what I took away is that one of the things that is quintessential about me is my love of life. I also saw that in my grades, something or other, probably high school essay, I said, there's 3 things I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about music, about dance, and about poetry. And having just come off of teaching Awakenings, which was a class about dance, and where clearly part of the impact was connecting to music, and finding a lot of my old poetry, it's reconnected me to that too. So this is what my papers have taught me about me. What does your history tell you about you? What do the things that you have chosen to keep, what do they say about who you are? And do you remember what your passions were as a youngster? And are they still a part of your life now? If not, are they things you've moved on from, or are they things you'd like to welcome back? That's what I am thinking about here in the studio. And it is intense, it is tender, it is meaningful, and it is beautiful. And that for me is the power of digging into something with a creative heart and a creative mind. So I hope you have a wonderful week in your studio. Think about these things. Think about what you can learn about who you are and the lens through which your creative eye sees the world. It'll teach you a lot about who you are as a human being and as an artist.